This is The Broken Shift with Nurse Natalie. Healthcare doesn't break in chaos, it breaks quietly.
Dark humor in healthcare is often emotional survival, not cruelty. Recently, I came across a discussion. It was about a psych nurse creator. His name is Jack Svets, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And the question wasn't coming from another nurse. It was coming from someone outside healthcare. They were asking, is this ethical? Is this a HIPAA violation? Are these stories even real? I think this conversation is much bigger than one creator. That's why we're here. Because what we're really talking about is, well, how healthcare workers process what they see. How do they process all of this? In a world where the internet is always watching. Now, personally, I actually think storytelling can be a healthy outlet for healthcare workers. That's my opinion. And especially psych nurses. Because if you know, you know.
Hi there, Jack here. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Psych Ward, where something happens to me at the Psych Ward and I tell you about it. Today has been a rather disturbing day. I have 3 patients that have lice. They all came in with it. Nobody contracted it from one another. But luckily one of them is a guy and he was cool with me shaving his head, just buzz cutting it, because that is a surefire way to get lice, just take away their home, burn it to the ground. Anyways, I did it, got done shaving his head and he was like, thank you so much. And I was like, no problem, had all this garb on, and I turned around and before I knew it, he was picking up the hair that had lice and all the eggs in it and throwing it at me, singing, "It's raining eggs. Hallelujah, it's raining eggs. Amen," while I screamed in terror. As you guys know, I have very luscious locks and I cannot risk them getting lice. So I am just keeping this on the rest of the day until I can find a shower. I'm so scared.
Now, to someone outside of healthcare, this probably sounds insane, right? Like what you just saw. This probably sounds completely insane, but psych nurses, they know these kind of moments actually happen. And honestly, humor becomes survival for them. Healthcare has always had dark humor culture. Ask any nurse, not just psych nurses, ER nurses, psych nurses, ICU nurses, EMS. They all have dark humor. Because when you deal with trauma, things like psychosis, aggression, emotional overload, bizarre behavior, and suffering, your brain has to find a release valve. Sometimes storytelling isn't exploitation. Sometimes it's emotional survival. And honestly, that's what I think Jack is doing. He has a hard job.
Hi there, Jack here. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Psych Ward, where something happens to me at the Psych Ward and I tell you about it. Well, if you watch my videos consistently, you know that this is not my car, okay? My car's in the shop, so I had to take my wife's car to work. Nevertheless, the stories remain the same. So let's get to it. Today, actually, last few weeks, I've had a patient that has a baby doll that she pretends is real. The baby doll's name, not breaking HIPAA, because it is a baby doll. It's Baby Gretchen. Okay, Baby Gretchen is very famous on our unit. Everybody loves Baby Gretchen because how could you not love Baby Gretchen, right? Today, a little different, all right? Something weird happened. Basically, my patient ran out of her room with Baby Gretchen in her hand, and Baby Gretchen was soaked in some sort of red liquid, okay? Not blood, but some sort of red liquid. It's like she got cherry juice or something. I don't know what she got, but she just doused Baby Gretchen in this. Poor Baby Gretchen, I know. Anyways, she was running up and down the hallway screaming, "Baby Gretchen got her first period, everybody! Baby Gretchen got her first period!" Didn't know periods soak the entire body, but you know, who am I? I'm a male, so I could be very wrong. Then she burst into the recreation room, which is where I was with a few other patients. And she said, "Guys, Baby Gretchen got her first period. Everybody's got to try the blood of the first period." And I was like, whoa, that's congrats or sorry to Baby Gretchen, depending on what her cramps are and that pain level. But nevertheless, we can't be trying her period. That's not appropriate. And the patient looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You must try the blood of the first menstrual cycle." What? I'll tell you what. Tough one. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my entire life. And I know you guys are like, "Oh, you've been beaten up a lot here and a lot of things have happened to you. Somebody pissed your pants once." Yes, there's a lot of things that have happened to me. But until you have someone look you dead in the eyes and say, "You must try the blood of the first menstrual cycle," you don't know fear, okay? Tough one.
And honestly, if you've worked psych, that moment right there probably sounds more believable than shocking. And I'm going to say this too. Jack, if you somehow see this, thank you for making healthcare workers laugh. Because healthcare workers need moments where they can breathe, where they can laugh, decompress, and feel understood. In psych nursing, that is not easy work. I had one psych rotation in school and I knew it wasn't for me. It's not easy work. So genuinely, I want you, Jack, to stay safe out there. But this is where the conversation starts getting complicated. Of course, it always gets complicated. Nothing can be straightforward. Healthcare storytelling changed once the audience became public. Years ago, these stories stayed between nurses in the break rooms, at the dinner tables, amongst coworkers, inside healthcare cultures. But now, healthcare storytelling is public, monetized, clipped, shared, analyzed, scrutinized. The whole internet is now sitting in the nurse's station. And I think something really important stood out in this discussion to me. The person questioning this wasn't even a nurse. And that really matters. It truly matters because over the past few years, the public has seen the likes of nurses fired over TikToks, blatant HIPAA violations, dancing videos near patients, mocking patients, healthcare workers using hospitals for content. And because of that, trust has changed. We couldn't imagine that it wouldn't. Even ethical healthcare storytelling now exists under a microscope because of the nurses who went viral for the wrong reasons. And honestly, some of that scrutiny was earned. They worked hard for it with all their viral content, mocking patients. Do you think social media changed how the public views nurses? Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. I personally think it does. I realized that a while back. And has healthcare content online damaged trust or improved transparency? Drop your thoughts on that also. Love to hear it. Because now even nurses trying to process emotionally can suddenly find themselves becoming public controversy. And all Jack is trying to do is decompress. He's not hurting anyone. As far as I can tell. Anyway, from what I've seen. I didn't watch all of his videos. So, with that said, something can technically follow HIPAA and still make people uncomfortable. Now, legally, HIPAA generally requires identifiable information. No names, faces, hospitals, birthdays, medical record, numbers, none of that. So that likely means this is not a direct HIPAA violation. Jack did not violate HIPAA. But ethically, that's where people disagree. Because something can technically follow HIPAA and still make people uncomfortable. And honestly, I understand both sides. I'm not teetering the fence. I just understand both sides because psych patients are uniquely vulnerable. Hallucinations, delusions, psychosis, bizarre behavior. That's a typical day with your psych patient. And people naturally ask, at what point does storytelling become entertainment? Where do you think the line is? Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. And can healthcare workers tell stories ethically online? Does removing names automatically make it okay? I don't know. I guess from what I'm seeing online, it depends, right? The issue isn't always identification. Sometimes it's dignity. And that's why this conversation is making so many people uncomfortable. Psych nurses carry emotional burdens most people never see. And honestly, I don't think most nurses watch his content and feel offended. I don't. I wasn't. I think many nurses feel understood when they see his content, especially psych nurses. Because if you know, you know. Psych nursing is emotionally exhausting in ways most people will never, ever understand. You are constantly absorbing crisis, trauma, manipulation, psychosis, aggression, and suffering. And eventually, people need somewhere for all that emotion to go. Humans generally process difficult experiences through stories. We always have. Soldiers, firefighters, paramedics, and nurses. That's not new. What's new is the audience? Do healthcare workers deserve spaces to decompress publicly? Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Or should healthcare stories stay completely offline? Healthcare culture is struggling to balance humanity, coping, ethics, and public trust. So maybe the question isn't, should nurses tell stories? I don't think that's the question. Maybe the better question is, how do healthcare workers stay human without turning humanity into content? And honestly, I think conversations like this matter. Because healthcare workers do need outlets, decompression, humor, storytelling, and emotional processing. But public trust matters too. And balancing those two things, that's where healthcare culture is struggling right now. Healthcare workers aren't just talking to coworkers anymore. They're talking to millions of strangers. I am talking to millions of strangers right now. This is not my break room. The real issue may not be storytelling. It may be what happens when trauma, burnout, humor, ethics, and social media all collide in the same room. If this message resonated, hit that like button and subscribe. Share, and I will see you in the next one. This is The Broken Shift.
Healthcare culture doesn't change when we ignore it. It changes when we're willing to examine it. This is The Broken Shift.